Hello everyone, it's Zoe Vavrick, back with another video about my FiberShed Youth Outreach Project. This is the first video in the series where I will be talking about the data I collected. Specifically, I'm going to talk about what I found when I asked 100 teenagers, do you think you know what fibers make up your clothing? And, specifically, what fibers make up your clothing? Name as many as you can. So when I asked 100 teenagers if they thought they knew what their clothing was made out of, and I gave them the options of yes, no, and sorta, here were the findings. 8% said yes, 23 said no, and 69 said sorta. So, out of this sample size, 100 teenagers, the majority said yeah, I sorta think I know what my clothing is made out of, and I consider that a good place to start. From there, I then asked if they could name as many fibers as they could that make up their clothing. And though I received a variety of answers, these were the top 5 guessed fibers in order of guess the most to guess the least: cotton, polyester, wool, spandex, and nylon. As you can see, only 2 out of the 5 most guessed fibers were natural. And before we dive into the reality of what actually makes up our clothing, I want to clear up a very important difference when we are talking about fibers, specifically the difference between natural and synthetic ones. So what's the difference? The key thing here is that synthetic fibers are plastic fibers that come from mined fossil fuels or below ground resources such as coal and oil. In comparison, natural fibers are harvested from the growth of fresh, natural plants and animals. As the production of synthetic fibers release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, natural fibers have the potential of sequestering it into the soil. Another difference is that when synthetic fibers are used, our habitats can easily become polluted with the shedding of plastic-based fibers from the wash and wear of these garments. But we will get more into that topic later in this series. So here is where we ask the question, what is our reality? What fibers actually make up the majority of our clothing? To break down these questions, let's first talk about the fibers we have access to. This 2011 graphic from the FAO ICAC survey shows that the majority is synthetic. The fact that 3 out of the 5 fibers that were guessed that make up our clothing were synthetic is right on the money. Now let's go into the specifics of the reality of each fiber guessed. Let's start with cotton versus polyester. Who is on top in the fashion production sector? According to calculations done by a new Textiles Economy full report, the total fiber production for clothing accounts for 53 million tons. Broken down, 13 million tons of that came from cotton production, 33 million tons came from plastic-based production for clothing, and 12% from other fibers. From this, one can extrapolate that cotton definitely comes after plastic-based production clothing, such as polyester, spandex, and nylon. Wool most certainly comes last of all of them. However, cotton is still the most used natural fiber in the world. Now let's talk about the reality of just polyester. To break down the total fiber demands from that of 1980 to that projected in 2030 from the 2015 TextileWorld.com, one can see that polyester has been on a steady rise since about 2015, passing demands of cotton after 2002 to around 70 million tons. So to be clear, in this list of most used fibers, polyester is the top dog. Furthermore, when compared to the polyester industry, the wool industry is about the size of a teacup pig, only representing 3% of the world's fiber production. In the category of synthetics, spandex makes up a large majority of that industry. For example, it has been estimated that out of the 20.5 billion pieces of clothing Americans bought In 2010, 80% of those products had spandex in them. Dress nylon, although it is accounted in estimated total fiber demands, it is mostly used for carpets. The carpet industry is actually where 17.5% of total nylon usage lies globally, and 72% of North American nylon production. So, although nylon does make a lot of intimate apparel, sheer clothing, and swimwear, nylon isn't exactly what's making up the majority of this synthetic clothing. Nylon is used mostly in other applications such as airbags and tires. Overall, the man-made fiber industry has far surpassed that of natural fibers for many, many years now. According to the 2015 TextileWorld.com, there was a record demand in 2014 of 55.2 million tons of synthetic fiber, in addition to man-made cellulose fiber demand of 5.2 million tons. In contrast, the natural fiber industry, including cotton and wool, had a demand of 25.4 million tons in all. If you can't see, the overarching theme here is that synthetics have taken over the fibers we wear. So next time you snag on your favorite sweater or go shopping, pop a look at the tag and see what you can find out. Most likely, you will realize most of your clothing is synthetic or made out of plastic. Until next time, here are your questions to ponder. Within the scope of human history, when did it start to become the norm that no one paid attention to or was aware of what was making up their clothing? And 2, what are the most prevalent contributors in our society to the idea that blind consumerism is cool or okay? Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.